welcome to the Final Bell. It's great to have you with us for another week. We are proudly presented by GMHBA, the official health insurance partner of the Geelong Cats. As I am every single week, I am joined by Meg McDonald. Hello, Meg.
Good morning, Lingy. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm really well. Very happy.
Good.
Very excited.
Good.
Especially with the way the last quarter went. And
yeah, I know.
It was very, very nice. We are going to talk all about the Cats' terrific win over Port Adelaide. We will look ahead to the big game on Thursday night, taking on the Doggies here at GMHBA Stadium. We're going to have a bit of a talk about a massive milestone that's coming up in that game as well. But you've started training pre-season?
We'd half started last week. We're always in a state of half starting, I think, from the start of the year. You know, as you know, it's not exclusive to AFLW. You gotta stay fit.
Yeah,
it's a year-round commitment.
It's a lifestyle, isn't it?
It's a lifestyle, absolutely. But we sort of accelerated things in the last month, and last week was induction week, and this week is full on. Let's go. We had a skills session, weight session yesterday, and to this afternoon. We've pulled it a bit earlier in the day. This afternoon we'll be hitting the track for our first main footy session. Oh,
fantastic. The big reason I asked, because I know that our listeners were shocked, disappointed, upset that there was no Meg's memo last week.
Or the week before, actually.
Yes.
We've been slack.
Yes, but Meg's memo is back, but I am told reliably by producer Jake that it's not related to Saturday evening's game against Port Adelaide, but it's related to a training session.
Yeah, I believe it's over a week old now. So I usually have like some fever dream memory of what I've said in these memos. This one not so much. As you know, we were speaking before we hit record that it's often automated, this on-field, in-training, instruction, feedback, experience. This was only a skills session, so I don't know how. Anyway, I'm making excuses. It's a long lead up. Let's just play it. We mic'd up myself and Sienna Tallaridi, who is one of our draftees, and let's not heap pressure on the gal straight off the bat, but
stop it. Be
mate,
careful.
Oh, no, seriously.
I can see that smile on your face.
Honestly, I'm like, my favourite player. I've had.
Don't you know, parents aren't supposed to have favourite kids and captains aren't supposed to have favourite players.
Yeah, but let me just say this, Lingy, and this is all, I'll put it on record. Last year pre-draft, the staff showed me a bunch of, people that we were looking at, and I was like, I'll tell you later why, but I was like, no, her. I was like, no, I'm just going to be biased to an intercepting defender who can score a really beautiful kick. But draft night, I was as shook as anyone when we called her name out, and both our draftees, Lexi Gregor as well, they've been fantastic so far. As I said, we're only in week one, but the way they've endeared themselves and their attitude's been awesome, as has the rest of the group. But,
brilliant.
Okay, Monkish, that was a lot of ado, but without further ado.
Hit me with Meg's memo.
Okay, awkward. Here we go.
Tyler, settle short now. Yeah, mate. Love it. Get it. Oh, not that, though. Touched. That's a good point. We want to, be quick, but that hula hoop we talk about, don't, be quick and have your legs outside of your body. Yes. Lovely short, great kick. Nice balance, Gunj. I think because we should practice ones where it's a bit slower, but this one could also be we're going, just coming this way, we're going out that way. Yours, Rach, hold. Settle. Yes, Rach, short now. Good footwork. Let's get out here, Rach. Play on, come with. Yep.
Oh, mate, short and sweet.
Short
and just
and sweet,
me.
and loved it. You wear a mouth guard at training?
I'm actually, for those not watching this on our various channels, I'm wearing a pink red jumper and I've gone a similar colour. I do wear a mouth guard.
It is unfair on you because it's awful to hear yourself back the way you talk in games like that or training like that because...
And decidedly different to how I would talk here, I think, or in my... That's the thing.
Exactly right, yeah. I love it, by the way, because you can hear your sometimes just encouragement and go and what we'd call basic talk, but then also some really clear instructional and coaching type talk, which is great.
Thanks, Lingy.
The legs outside your body, I know that makes sense when you're talking about a football term. It just doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I get you
we
completely.
were unbalanced on our kicks.
Yes.
No, I thought there'd be the section where I was talking to Sienna. Just love another. I'm waxing lyrical already, but I said our S&C was talking about discrete reps. And I turned to Sienna and I said, define discrete. And then she gave me a definition from her year 12 PE. It was amazing. I was like,
fantastic.
Legend. Anyway, we'll find out with all this whether she's a listener of the pod because she'll have to report back about how much I love it. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. You'll see plenty more W content, I reckon, going forward.
Yes, absolutely you will. Great to hear that. And that was part of a training session which is wouldn't call you biggest, massive, like 100% intensity training session, more building the craft. And
just a little Monday touch session, build the craft. Today is our first sort of full ground, full contact. Yeah, let's go. Fantastic. You'll hear a little bit more high level defensive system talk tonight.
Nice. I like it. Thank you for that. For Meg's memo, I reckon if you gave a Meg's memo from the game on Saturday against Port, it would have been one that was very, very happy, very, very excited.
Yes.
And obviously a couple of little concerns out of it based around injury. It was an amazing first half, and I mean amazing in almost a bad way for both teams, that the soft tissue injuries that just hit. Jason Horne-Francis goes down, Lockie Jones goes down, Paddy goes down, Jack Bowes goes down, and then Josh Sin as well with the that would have hurt.
My goodness, that would have hurt.
Yep. So heaps of injuries, but then I suppose the great thing was Geelong's depth was clearly there, where a quick little adjustment, Danger and Jack are out, adjust, and take total control of the game. Really good sign.
A fantastic sign. I watched the first half at home before I had to hit the road and go to karaoke. And you better be thankful that...
Oh, where's the Meg's memo?
You better be thankful that didn't make the memo.
Oh,
my goodness. I would rather listen to what we just listened to on repeat for 5 hours.
All right. Just for our listeners, just give me one song that you don't have to sing it, but what did you sing on the night?
I joined a friend for Flame Trees.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's probably a bit slow and broody for the audience and the mood, and did an ABBA medley later on in the evening.
A little bit more up high.
Yes. And well, there were a few more drinks flowing for everyone else. I obviously wasn't partaking, which only exacerbates the mortification. But that's where I was on my way to. So I left home being like, I'm feeling okay, but not necessarily super confident. And as I drove through the rain and listened to the radio on the way up to Melbourne, I was like, good, we've done well.
So you didn't see live on TV Ollie Dempsey completely take apart the third quarter?
No, I heard it.
Except for his kicking for goal, where he could have had one of the greatest games I've ever witnessed if he kicked straight, but he was still in total control of the game in the third quarter.
I mean, it's a bit outrageous. He's 17 goals now and, a number of behinds from the weekend, but... A lot of vision's been shown about how he takes off, but his work rate in both directions is fantastic. And
he appears in the defensive goal square just as much as he appears in the attacking goal square.
And it's not there is a skill in reading what's happening in the contest and trusting that your teammates are going to win the ball and getting forward.
If he kept running to the goal square and he kicked 2 goals for the year and he doesn't get to the defensive goal square, coaches are having a chat about, hey mate, you're probably going for. He's impacting the game in a massive, massive way. Then the rewards flowed for the big forward, Jezza, just completely took over. Ends up with 7 goals, including the one last. I had my kids yelling at the TV for him to kick quickly because we all knew the siren was just about to go. Kicks his 7th goal and just a brilliant performance.
Watching the replay, I knew he'd kick 7 and then it was the start of the fourth quarter. I was like, where are these coming from? But he went bang, 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 bang. If I could take you back to the first quarter, I just want to make note of Jack Henry and the influence he has on the team.
Great call.
I just think, I think he had 5 intercept marks for the game. I don't know how many would have come in the first quarter. To be able to come back in after a few weeks or multiple weeks or whatever it was, a month or so out, read the play as well as he did, and the sort of assuredness that he imbues the team with was so clear to see. He just allows the entire system to play in a I think a much more empowered way, a much more sure way. So he shored us up behind the ball, and his mate Mark O'Connor.
Yeah,
what a game from him!
Great game, and I think if so certainly you go Jeremy Cameron, Bailey Smith, terrific again. Ollie Dems, standouts.
Yeah,
absolutely. But then and I use this in the a nice way, like what you'd call the lesser lights, the more low profile players outside these four walls. Jack Henry, you're absolutely right. Brilliant game. Mark O'Connor, superb. And Oisin Mullen's job on Zach Butters. Yeah. Those three were just brilliant, and it just added to the fact that Jack Bowes and Paddy go down, but there was a calmness about it because every player was playing the role that they were given and playing it at such a high level.
Absolutely. And I watch Mark and I think he's like so fastidious in his preparation. He's like really conscientious with his roles. And I think I might have said this a couple of weeks ago. I feel like you can see our game plan, our game style in how he plays. He's like, I'm looking off the line, I'm driving legs, I'm taking the space, I'm being hard to play against. And for a player who has been obviously more in the team than not, but at times played the sub, at times missed out on selection, to be playing the kind of footy he is at the moment is just, it's just a testament to what a brilliant player and person he is. So very, very happy for him.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that shout out, because I thought in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, I thought he was our best player.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 5 or 6 weeks even. I thought across those games, Jack was our best. Then he cops that injury and damn, that's unfair. He just really hit that. You're right. He looks like he hadn't missed a game.
Yeah.
Because usually the conditioning staff here and the coaching staff do such a good job to physically get them ready post-injury. But often you're just lacking that little bit of touch, maybe a little bit of composure's lacking because you've got to get back up to the pace of the game. He looked like he had not missed a beat.
And, I mean, obviously the key defenders are the beneficiaries of pressure on the ball. And I thought, Jeremy Cameron made a point of it at the end of the game, how much of a four-quarter effort it was for the team, which is something everyone's always searching for. I thought Axe was incredible in that respect. And I was just watching Brian Myers, and I'm like, this bloke, the mechanical work is like a measurement that we have on our GPS, and I think it sort of measures acceleration and deceleration and change of direction and how quickly you can do those things. And, we laud Grind for his creativity, but his movement and his pressure on that half-forward line, particularly when it's, I think, their half-forward line, so our half-forwards have pushed up, he's putting pressure on and creating that turnover, which allows us to slingshot. So you force the turnover, you're doing a 150-metre sprint, getting involved in a chain and finishing. I thought he was awesome, as was Brad Close.
Yeah, well, so I think having Grind back, you're right, he's that massive work rate at high energy, high speed, but the connection that he creates with Brad and Tyson and just it all links better when they're all working. They're working in isolation because they want the one-on-ones rather than all ending up in the same spot, but they're working in unison at the same time.
Yeah,
it is brilliant.
It was probably epitomised by that play. It was on sort of the far flank for Port, and Grind's pressuring one side. They can't get the inside 50. They're forced onto the left foot. Brad smother, and then the handball chain when Tyson goes over his shoulder, you're on when you're doing that kind of stuff, and Jez finishes nicely.
Absolutely. It was a complete performance. You're right. Mark Blitzarves as well. Shout out to him again. Terrific in the ruck and just his work rate, and we know how versatile he is. A great win by the team. An important win too, because I know we dropped that game against the Giants here. You're going into state, and you are facing a quick turnaround before you play the Western Bulldogs, who are also a very good team. You go, if we just have a little hiccup and drop one in Adelaide, gee, that becomes a nasty little run then. But now settles everything down a little bit. So terrific win. We will get to looking forward to the Cats and the Dogs. I'll say it a bit later as well, but always check the health update. I think we got some reasonably good news on Paddy's hammy.
1 to 2. I mean, it didn't look like from the TV, from the couch, it almost looked like he took himself off self-preservationally, So maybe 1 or 2 more weeks off than he might have had otherwise.
And as the club always does, they are on the side of caution. They make sure the players are right to come back and put them in a position to succeed without the doubts in their mind. But a player of Paddy's age, and they'll certainly make the best call there. Just quickly, before we do take a break, Meg, the VFL, unfortunately, going down to Port Melbourne. We had the double header with the VFL and the VFLW, and I pumped it up and said, go along and watch and all that, and I hope a lot did. 0 from 2, sadly. Yeah. The VFL losing by 4 points, the VFLW going down by 60 points. Not probably the best night of football, but we shall move on and learn. The VFL play the Footscray Bulldogs 5:05 p.m, so 5:05 exactly, this Friday, May 23rd. At the Whitten Oval. I haven't played at the Whitten. I haven't been to the Whitten Oval for a long, long time.
Mate, well, I do.
Love playing there.
That's great. And they've got the Renault.
Yeah, they've got the fancy new Renault, haven't they?
No, it's particularly great for made my AFLW debut there. There you go.
Ah, fantastic.
Forgettable performance, but that's okay.
The VFLW play Essendon 1:05 p.m. on Saturday. This Saturday coming at Deakin Uni Oval. For those of you who want to head along, please do go and cheer on the team. Don't forget to, though, Meg, grab your 3-game membership, especially to watch this Thursday night's game as part of the Sir Doug Nicholls round, our clash against the Bulldogs at home. Secure your tickets now to make sure you get a seat.
Got to get a seat, mate. There have been people doing their bit to promote this game, and
yes.
I'm sure we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the preview. But it's an enormous week. I mean, it's an honour to now that every team has a home game for Sir Doug Nicholls round. I'm sure in the promo we'll touch on this stunning jumper once again, but it's also a big game for one of the greats of the footy club as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about that more after the break. We'll get to your questions as well, some listener questions, and then we will touch on that big milestone and the huge game, the Cats taking on the Dogs this Thursday night. Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GMHBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital Cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GMHBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au. Welcome
back to the final bell. Big thanks to GMHBA for allowing us to bring this to you every single week. Meg, want to dive into some questions from our wonderful listeners, and then we're going to touch on the Bulldogs game and touch on Mitch Duncan's milestone as well. But this one's from Nina.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if it's teammate Nina.
Could
I'm not sure.
Privately names, but all good.
If you weren't doing footy, what would you be doing?
Water polo. No.
Wasn't expecting that.
It was actually when I first started footy, I thought I need to get back into a sport, and that was sort of the other one I was considering, and I'm glad I didn't. I saw some underwater footage, and I was like, I'll have my contact where I can see it. Thanks.
For those who don't know, who are maybe new to the podcast, tennis was your original sport?
It was done by that time. But
what about work-wise?
Work-wise, well, I studied a bit of media and comms and English lit, and I work in comms. So I do say to a lot of people that, footy and exploring footy has given me those opportunities. But I think if I had my time all over again and I was a kid, I feel like hosting the Olympic Games was being Joe Griggs was I don't think I even knew that could be a job, but I.
You wanted that job.
I think I probably wanted that job. This is a different answer to last time. I think I said celebrity chef, and then my mum loved that and is. Anyway, somewhere in between celebrity chef and maybe this is what appeals to me is that Joe Griggs gets Better Homes and Gardens, and sport.
Yeah,
what a life!
I love the
what a life.
I love the fact that really you are you want to host the Olympics and be a celebrity chef.
I'd rather be an Olympian, but that ship sailed.
This is fantastic.
That's all right. I've spent plenty of time daydreaming.
Nice.
How
I like
about
it.
you?
Well, if I hadn't have been drafted, I would have kept playing footy somewhere because I love playing footy.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be a primary school teacher.
Oh,
I got into
a great one.
got into primary school teaching. I did for my first, I think, 4 or 5 years here. I did primary teaching part-time at Deakin. Had a great experience. I only did one lot of rounds, so ultimately I didn't do finish my degree. I had great preps in my first lot of rounds, and that kind of turned me off teaching for a long time.
Fair.
I think maybe I was a little better with the older kids.
Yeah.
And then I also later in my career did a carpentry apprenticeship because I was interested in building and construction and that sort of stuff. So I don't know if I would have ended up in any of those. I became a qualified carpenter. Well, I finished my schooling.
I'm going to put in a cabinet request.
No, I can promise you.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea to get me to do anything.
Okay. All right.
My skills have dropped off and they weren't great to start with.
I also think you and I could just be like culture podcasters and talk about film and TV and music all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, it's the Cannes Film Festival at the moment, so that whole world I would have loved to be in that one too. No shortage of things left to do in my life.
Lots of things to do. Hopefully that one's answered it for you, Nina.
Nina, you knew all that. I know you did.
Brendan wants to know, what is Geelong's greatest mark? Is
O'Connor this week.
Very good.
That's all right.
Very good, Meg.
No worries.
Is it Gary Ablett Sr. over Gary Pert? Is it Bruce Lindner over some Fitzroy opponent? Is it Billy Ryan? I'm going back for the oldies here. Billy Ryan back in the early 60s.
I can't answer any of these. Okay. Shame on me.
Is it Ollie Dempsey at some stage this season or last?
Future Ollie Dempsey.
Yeah.
Ollie Dempsey. Current. You think he's already got one that's up there?
No, I reckon he's got bigger in him.
Yeah.
He's going to get a perfect run at one, and the poor pack of defenders isn't going to know what hit him with Ollie jumping over their heads.
Do you agree that landing on your feet is detrimental to their glory?
Well, yeah. When you're talking like that real wow, you almost need the heart in the mouth as a supporter thinking, oh, is he going to land? Brad Otten's against the Sydney Swans in about 2006. Won a car for that one. I'm just reeling off the nut marks
I
can think of.
I mean, my fave was probably in the men's, probably just and it's Bulldogs week, so Stewie's just down here. Remember that one? With a big smile afterwards.
Yep.
I mean, it's not the most dramatic one you've ever seen, but I love how much he loved it. And in the women's, my housemate, Rach Kearns, got a nomination for Mark of the Year this year for a nice little specky. So
nice.
There you go.
There we go, Brendan. This one's from Cobza. If you could go back and change one thing in Geelong's history, what would it be? Wow. I went to some torturous grand finals.
Yeah. You can have two. You can have both of mine because I'm all right on the history front.
That's tricky because then you could get into some contract type stuff and say supposedly Greg Williams was going to sign here if they'd found him $5,000 more and he left. But that's rewriting history well and truly. But I suppose that's what the question is.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Just when I was a little kid supporter, just like 92 or 94, just one of them against West Coast.
It might have changed your entire...
Yeah, I might not have had as much
vibes.
Hunger and drive and just desperation.
Too much satisfaction.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll say it's just perfect, Cobza.
Yeah.
Jazzalee, can we give Mark O'Connor his flowers? Having a career best season. Jazzalee, agree with you. Meg certainly agrees with you. Hopefully in the first segment we did give Mark a great shout out because he deserves it. He's playing great footy.
Flowers to Mark. Maybe some nice peonies.
Oh, here we go. We might have... we touched on this one a little bit, but maybe we can expand on it here for Sean, Meg. Oisin Mullen, the tagger, Oisin Mullen, the tagger, small defender, or future standalone midfielder. Where do you see his next, let's say, 6 or 7 years?
I think mid. I think he's physically so suited to that part of the ground. I think where really well stocked behind the ball. I mean, as we are in the midfield, but he's doing incredible things at the moment, and surely that just develops into doing your own thing.
I think, but I also think an accountable mid is worth their weight in gold. So I'm not. He will drift as he gets better and better and has more impact on games away from being what you call a tagger.
Yeah.
But somebody who can go both ways, and let's call it an Isaac Heaney comes up on ball for Sydney, and Osh can go to him, but then Heaney thinks, oh, beauty, I'm going to take him forward. Well, most mids would roll over there and hand him over to a defender.
Yeah.
Osh could go with him comfortably and live comfortably down there, and that is gold because then you're not having to shuffle a million different things. So I think his ability to play as a small defender, high defender, or accountable mid makes him ultra flexible. And
nullifying Isaac Heaney would be nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I did pluck just Isaac, but the best of those mid types who are ones who can be forward half mids, Dusty's the greatest ever at it. If you've got a player who can play on that guy but not have to swap it over, that's perfect.
I mean, result. I'm sure we'll get to it, but he's got plenty of choices to go to this week.
Yes, he certainly does. Well, let's get into that with this question from Sean, or maybe the same Sean. Favourite Mitch Duncan highlight? And that's going to head us into the fact that Mitch Duncan joins Tom Hawkins, Joel Selwood, two of his great mates, Corey Enright, Ian Nankervis, Jimmy Bartell and Sammy Newman as now a 300-game player for the Cats.
Yep.
What an achievement.
What an achievement. We've been sort of spoilt for these sort of celebrations in recent years, and Mitch is different to those guys that we've celebrated, but equally is much to credit for the enormous success that the club's enjoyed during his time at the footy club.
And so just think of the consistency he's had over all of those years. His work rate has always been high. His ball use has been
his kick
incredible.
is just mwah.
His reading of the play, his understanding when to just be a release, when to get forward, has played with flexibility as well. We're talking half back, wing, half forward, clearly lots of midfield time as well. He has just continued to front up and play at a high level for the team. My favourite memory, strangely enough, goes back to, because he's had better games and more dominant games and better seasons, goes back to my last season and his second season at the club. The work that he put in throughout that season to turn himself from he's a kid who's played, I would say 99 to 100% outside. Just was beautiful kick, beautiful mover, but was all outside.
Yeah.
And and particularly I, challenged him. I said, well, Mitch, if you're going to be part of a finals run for us and we want a shot at a premiership here, you got to learn to be inside and outside. We want you using your outside attributes, but in a grand final or a prelim final, the ball doesn't live out there much. You got to be strong in the inside when your time comes. And the work that he put in throughout that whole year, we'd do his edits together. He'd do extra work with Joel Selwood or anyone like Joel Corey or these guys in the contested stuff. And grand final, I actually talked to him about it at the time. I was like, it might be for one moment in a grand final where you have to bodyline the ball, you have to take the footy and you can't fumble because every other one of your teammates is making a decision based on you not fumbling in that situation. And to his credit, he did it against the reigning champs, Collingwood. He came on, had an impact, played a really important role as a second-year player. And I just cherished the growth of him throughout that year. And that was the last time I got to play with him. Was like, this is a kid who wants to do the work and is going to put in everything. And now, playing 300 games, it's because of the foundational work he was prepared to do early on in his career.
Yeah, well, I was going to cite that. I mean, I suppose this is an outside goal, but his goal in that grand final was, came at a pivotal time, right? End of the third from 50. I think you were 2 points up at the time. And then if you chart that or you track that, as you're saying, to the 2022 grand final, and plenty of the players have had a laugh at, when Mitch is setting tone-setting tackles, then is laying tone-setting tackles, then you're going all right. So, and I had a few questions for you on Mitch. I mean, what was he like when he came? Because he came over from Perth. Like to stay for 300 games on the other side of the country, I'm sure he would have had offers to go back or, a pull to go back home, but he seems to have embraced Geelong.
Yeah, he really has, and that's beautiful. And obviously, he met his now wife Demi here, and they've
4 kids later, incredible.
4 kids, but that's probably why he wants to keep playing for another 10 years.
Yeah.
But what was he like as a brand new kid? He was, I don't know, kids from Perth like Joel Corey. I sort of got to know really well. Yeah, they're always come over. They're a little bit kind of surfy, even though there's not like surf beaches right there in Perth.
Shannon Neal.
Just kind of like cruisy, pretty laid back. And it's like, oh, is this kid like a real confident kid who's going to end up?
He's got those tips in.
And he got the tips in the head. It's like, oh, is he going to be a bit annoying? Mm-hmm. And then the training started, and it's like, oh no, this kid, he wants to work.
Love that.
He run and listen to everything. He the old cliche, be a sponge when you're a young player and soak up all of that information, that knowledge from as many of the older players. That was Mitch. Yeah. That was honestly, he would get, Joel Selwood was probably 5 or 6 years older then, but he'd be soaking everything up from Joel. He'd be getting it from Corey and Wright, from Joel Corey, from me while I was there, from like Matty Scarlett. He'd just be absorbing it all and getting to work on it.
Yeah,
and
love that.
I think that one, he won us over really quickly, because don't forget, he was walking into a team so he was drafted end of 2009, so 2010's his first season. We've won 2 premierships in 3 years, and we've been to 3 straight grand finals. That's a big, strong, mature, like high-end team to walk into and still be able to go, oh yeah, we like this. We like this kid. This is great. So he hit the ground running. And you're right, you probably at the time don't appreciate how hard it is to move from the other side of the country and be a kid a long, long way from home, and then to make this place his home. He's done incredibly well.
And the only other one I had for you was I looked at him this week, and looking at where he's played his footing. You mentioned it before, outside, inside, half forward, half back. The team is now renowned for that sort of adaptability, but he must have been a great weapon to have, across the past, what is it now? 16, 17 years.
Yeah, and I think when you see that player who can go in and out wherever you need him, probably the best to have done it at different times is like a Sean Burgoyne when he was at Hawthorn was, okay, we need a little something in that part of the ground, so Sean will go there. Well, Mitch was that type of one where you could, okay, we just want that polish and that great ball use and the smarts on the outside and the wing. Let's set the outside and let's get some good use going. Oh, we need a little something inside, somebody who can get it and move away from the stoppage, bring others into the game. Let's put Mitch in there. So that ability to adapt really quickly was important. And then, and for the kids who listen to this podcast, I don't know how many of them are, why we and junior age coaches and everything like that go on and on and on about practicing your skills and becoming a good kick. If you are a damn good kick, it will stand up. Like, even if there were moments in his career where his form was fluctuating, and everyone has that. It's not a shot. It's just a fact. You have a little tough period. You could still know that Mitch Duncan gets the footy, and 99 times out of 100, it's hitting a target. Yeah. So that's the fact that he was such a beautiful ball user. Yeah. And I know Tom Hawkins, it became almost a gag in the end. It's like, Mitch has got it. Oh, well, Hawk's going to end up with it.
Yeah. I think he had 179 to be confirmed goal assists, 184 or something goals. So pretty much 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So such a wonderful achievement for Mitch. 300 games, congratulations to him. Hopefully he enjoys the day. I know we've gone a little bit long, but I want to touch on obviously a huge game as well, because it is Mitch's 300th, but it is also a game where the Cats are taking on the Bulldogs down here, Thursday night footy, primetime Thursday night, and the Dogs are playing some sensational footy as well.
I was probably like self-preservation and mood management that I haven't watched any of that game, but all I've heard is that they were globe-trotting around the place just being ridiculous. No shortage of threats, and I don't have a great affection for. I look at the dogs and like, I love watching you play. I love your stars, as we say all the time. I love the Bont, but Ed Richards is rating above him this year. It's
I was
going
to say that's the thing that the dogs are doing so well is so often we go, it's going to have to be Bont and Libba in the middle. Well, no, it doesn't have to be as much this year. So Ed Richards is playing great footy. Kennedy's playing great footy. They've got Fraser. Yeah, they've got the options through the middle of the ground, which is supporting the Bont and Libba.
I'm looking forward to the wing battle. I don't know if the Doc on the wing. What's his name? Davidson. Yes. Davidson v Dempsey. Don't mind that one. I cut you off. Sorry, you were getting.
No, I was going to say, and the Bulldogs' forward line is working really well considering. They haven't had Jamara at all this year, and Sam Darcy goes down, but it's looking highly functional at the moment. So, great challenge for our defence. As you said, Jack Henry's back there now, which settles it down structurally as well. But going to be some great matchups, and we've got to just quickly talk about it. Bailey Smith playing against his old mob.
I feel like we've taken him off the hands just so we don't have to worry about him as well. He can play for us. You got plenty. No, he loves it. I mean, I watched his post-game interview from the weekend, and he's clearly like his psychology and his I suppose sports psychology, I would guess, is very. I just love it. I just love, like, how fun is it? I love it. I live for the contest. That's better to me than winning or losing. So he's going to be absolutely up for the fight, and
He will. There'll be plenty of dog supporters who probably don't want to see him go real well. Plenty of cat supporters who will be cheering him on. We do know a couple of weeks ago his cheeky little comments, a bit of theatre, and then the Bont responded beautifully. It was very clever by the Bont.
Well played.
And so we've had that little bit of byplay, which I love. It sets up a huge Thursday night clash. The challenge to see where the cat. So we beat Collingwood in a close one, a very close one. Lose to the Giants in a very close one. Have a terrific complete performance against Port. So the form is there, and the form is there for the Dogs. So it is seeing two. I think producer Jakey said here a top 8 clash, which is right where they currently sit right now. But I'd say on form, this is a top 4 clash.
Yes,
both teams are certainly top 4 worthy. This is a good old-fashioned blockbuster on our home deck.
Isn't it? And I think the Bulldogs are the best team for going from their back half to a score. So I think our high half forwards that we've sort of praised in the past game, who are really, I think, on at the moment, it's going to be a massive game for them. And hopefully we get a few more coming back in. We'll have a few rested. We don't know team selection yet, of course. We don't know the health update, but my fingers are crossed for one. Tommy Stewart, be nice to see him. I don't know if Reece is back in, if that helped. I mean, we loved having Reece in because it means that we can be so adaptable with Blitz, but Blitz is going so well in the ruck, so...
Yeah, and just to back up Meg's point, do check out the health update once it comes out on the Cats website. Obviously, we know Danger and Jack won't be there, but if you want to find out more about the updates on their injuries, but who might come back in is probably the one everyone's eyes are on now, with a quick turnaround for the Thursday night game. Stewie, if he did come back in, is massive, of course. And Reece, I think given especially the size of Tim English and the Bulldogs' size there, and the flexibility around Blitz, if Bont does get off the chain a little bit, could Blitz roll onto him for a little bit because he's got the size with him. So I still think having Reece back allows greater flexibility with Blitz. But if Reece isn't quite ready, total confidence in Blitz. It'll be a brilliant game, Meg.
I'll be there.
Can we do a Meg's memo at
All right,
that
we'll
one?
do it. I'll come find you and get a live one. No, I'll
I'm lucky. I don't have to work that night. I'm taking the boys along, and Max, my oldest, his best mate, is a Bulldog supporter.
He's got all these mates that go for other teams.
Yes, and he's a great kid, and we've known him forever. Close family friends, and I even said, "You can come along. We've got a spare seat. I don't mind. You can come with us." I don't invite opposition supporters to our seats often, but little Findo's such a good kid. I said, you can come along as long as you understand if the Cats win, there's going to be a lot of happy Geelong people surrounding you. And if the Dogs win, I don't want to hear a word you've got to say.
Silencio.
Yeah, he was quite happy with that. That'll do us, Meg. Thank you to all of our listeners who sent in questions. Please keep them coming for next week. We will be back next week.
Yeah, we will.
Good luck with your main training, the Savo.
Thank you.
Hope it goes well. Maybe some more Meg's memo for training.
We'll stick to the game
direction.
once for now, I reckon. Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week.